Like, I remember when I was younger coming home from a game, and I think there was a comment about me being brown, and just being in the shower trying to almost wash my skin colour off. Yeah, I really went into a shell.